Welcome. Sorry for the glare on my glasses, but this is the best place in the house for me to do these recordings. I've definitely felt an urgency pricking my heart to try to help people to make it in the rapture because we know it's very soon. If you have any Christianity teachings, you'll know that we are living in the last days. We're living in the end times. We're living in scary times. But Jesus did tell us that these times were coming. If you have ever heard Bible teachers teach about trying to give some type of an idea of when the rapture would happen, of course, we know that there are three passages, one in Matthew, one in Mark, and one in Luke, that reference Israel and how they all conclude with, "This generation shall not pass away," before essentially what we call the rapture, which is not a word that is mentioned in the Bible, by the way. The Bible speaks about us being caught away to be with him, being caught up in the air for those who have been obedient to his word. And so how long is a generation? So the Bible teaches us that a generation is typically 70 years. However, in Psalms 90, verse 10, it says, "And if by reason of strength they be 80 years," which is 80 years. We know that Israel became a nation in May of 1948. We know that God does everything based on the Hebrew calendar, which means 80 years would be up this coming August. But is God always exact with number of years, number of days, whatnot? No, he's not. And I'm going to give you an example of that. In Genesis chapter 15, verse 13, God was speaking to Abram and telling him essentially that because of the disobedience of Israel, he was going to allow them to go into slavery for 400 years. Chapter 15, verse 13, "And shall serve them and shall afflict them 400 years. And yet we fast forward to Exodus chapter, oh Lord, this is verse 41, Exodus 12:41. And it says, "It came to pass at the end of 430 years." So he told Abram that they were going to be in captivity for 400 years, but it ended up being 430 years. Because God is not always exact with dates, because, we know there's a verse in the Bible that says no man knows the day or the hour when the Son of Man is going to return. But you can just rest assured that though the 80 years is up on the Hebrew calendar this August, since they became a nation, what that simply means is it may end up happening in August, the rapture, but there may be a little bit longer of a time. I personally believe that the reason that Israel was in captivity for 430 years is because they didn't cry out to God until that. So though he may have intended for them to only be in captivity 400 years, it was for a longer time. But the most important thing that I want to talk about today is not just the urgency of it going to be happening more than likely in your and my lifetime, is that, are you really ready? I've had people say to me, if God is so loving, would he really send people to hell? And I want you to know that God doesn't send anybody to hell, but he gives you the choice. You can choose him. You can choose to be obedient to what he has had written in his word, or you can choose not to. So the choice is up to you. You get to choose this or this. And so in the end, yes, people will be cast into hell. And I want you to know that there's very many big name preachers, TV preachers, YouTube preachers that are going to be in hell, along with the kabillions of people that have followed them. Because you can't just base your actions on what some big name preacher says. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says that the early church searched the scriptures daily to find out if what they were hearing was really so. If you're going to some church or you're listening to some church and they're telling you thus and so, and this is all you have to do, Jesus paid it all. Yeah, he did pay it all. He paid the price. But what are you going to do as a response to what he did for you? It's going to be my goal to keep these videos short, but I want you to think about it. There's a verse in the Bible that says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. That sounds scary, doesn't it? And what that really means is that when each one of us stand before him on Judgment Day, we don't get to, point, well, he said this, he told me this. She told me this. They told me this. And God's going to say, you had access to my word. What did you do with it? So I want to encourage you today. Since the first church started in the book of Acts, start there. That's a great place to start reading. I'm going to be getting into some details over the next several weeks, months. But I want to encourage you, take your eternity serious. Because only those who are ready are going to go up with the Lord when he returns. Father, I thank you for this time. I thank you for the ability to be able to reach people through this venue. And I pray that if there are any hungry souls out there that have run across this video, I pray that you will help them to pick up your word or grab a device and start reading in the book of Acts, where your first church began. It is my heart's desire, my soul's desire, to help more people make it. Choose him. There's an old song, you can find it on YouTube. And I used to love to sing it when I was teaching Sunday school to my kids. And it goes like this. I choose Jesus. I choose Jesus without a solitary doubt. I choose Jesus, not for miracles, but for loving me, not for Bethlehem, but for Calvary. Not for today, but for eternity. I choose Jesus. God bless you.